Hello everyone, I'm Amy and I work at the Morgan County Public Library at the Waverly branch, and I've got a few books I want to talk about today. So we've all heard the age-old phrase, don't judge a book by its cover, but how many of us judge books based on their color? I use Goodreads to be able to keep track of what I have read, and I have noticed that for the most part the books I read are mainly dark colors with occasional splashes of color. This year I decided I would try some pink books and maybe a little bit of pastel, even though those aren't my type of items I usually read. So the three I have here today are The Grace Year by Kim Leggett, Lock Every Door by Riley Sager, and Soiled Doves by Anne Seagraves. So these are the three books. So here's this one, this one, and that. So just to go through them real quick, none of these books were quite what I expected from a book with a pink cover, and so maybe these, even though they aren't maybe your normal read, maybe you would like them as well. So the first one I'm going to talk about is The Grace Year, and nobody speaks about the Grace Year. It's actually forbidden in this society. So the girls in Garner County are actually told that they have the power to lure grown men from their beds and to drive women mad with jealousy. It's believed that their skin emits a powerful aphrodisiac and a potent essence of youth. So they are actually banished from the community during their 16th year to be able to go into the wild and release their magic so they can return purified and ready for marriage. But not everyone makes it home alive every year. So the 16-year-old Tinnery James, who is our main character, wishes for a society that doesn't pit friend against friend or woman against woman. And as her grace year draws near, she quickly realizes that it's not just the brutal elements they must fear. It's not even the poachers in the woods, and those are men who are waiting for them to come outside of the fence so they're able to grab the girls and sell them on the black market, but parts of them. And so they end up finding that maybe their greatest threat out of all of this is actually each other. It's kind of creepy. Okay, so the next one is called Soiled Doves, and it is by Anne Seagraves, and this is a Waverly copy, and it's actually signed by the author, so I thought that was kind of interesting. But these women are women who participated in the oldest profession in the Old West. They are colorful characters who are not socially acceptable, and these ladies of easy virtue were definitely a part of the early West and, getting it settled. So they're able, it talks about, the ruffled petticoats, their dress. It talks about how some of them lived a very glamorous life, how some of them lived a very harsh life, and how they were able to eventually tame the wild that it was the Old West. These are also really blended women throughout the American frontier. And as I said, they didn't necessarily have the easiest of life. So some escaped this either through suicide or marriage, or like the Chinese girls in San Francisco, there really wasn't a lot of escape that they were able to do. It's got a lot of really neat photographs in it and gives kind of just a slight insight of what their lives would have been. Okay, and the last one I have is Lock Every Door, and it's by Riley Sager, and there's some rules that are set up in this book. And so there is a apartment that is called the Bartholomew, and it's in Manhattan, and it is a high-profile building where there's a lot of mystery attached to it. Our main character, Jules Larson, is she's picked to be a apartment sitter, which is because the apartment, with its rules, for whatever reason, it cannot have a room that is empty. But that also means that the sitters, they cannot have any visitors. There's no nights being spent away, and they're not allowed to disturb the other residents. They can talk to them once they've been talked to, but they are rich and famous people, and so you're not supposed to disturb them. So as Jules has started living here, she eventually finds another sitter who they are able to talk, and she tells her about how her sister had worked and that she had been missing for 8 years. So Jules starts finding out that there's some dark history behind these the apartment sitting at Bartholomew, and eventually Ingrid says she's going to tell her everything she knows, and that next day Ingrid disappears. So Jules keeps digging, and she finds more and more dark secrets, and it has very dark past. And she's able to find out that Ingrid may not be the first sitter who's gone missing. And so it's a very, racing against the clock to see if she can figure out what is happening and who is behind it. So hopefully one of these may have been interesting to you, and maybe you'll give a book that has maybe a little bit different look to it a try. Thanks, you have a great day. Bye.